and multiplicity of cultivators. High labor cost driven by collective bargaining agreements, or popularly known as CBAs, negotiated by the Kenya Plantation and Agricultural Workers Union on behalf of factories, is also another matter that the committee observed. The other issue of interest is that the committee did not come across any tea sector policy that provides for a framework for governance of the tea sector in the country. And after having made their observation, the committee equally did some recommendations. Among them is that the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock should institute an independent audit on the level of adherence and compliance to regulation of licensing of factories by the Tea Board of Kenya, that KTDA should also improve on private power generation, and this would cut on the cost of energy. The Ministry of Energy should also implement the power wheeling to enable tea factories that are generating power to distribute it to factories within the proximity that are in need of such power. And to just mention, the other recommendation is that the National Assembly needs to amend the Tea Act of the year 2020. And this amendment would conform the act to the growth and development of the tea industry in Kenya. So this is just but a few of the recommendations by the Committee on Agriculture that was inquiring into the issues of pricing of tea in Kenya, and seeing to it that that pricing is regulated. But away from that, the National Assembly is also set to consider the Income Tax Amendment Bill of the year 2026. It is a bill currently at the second stage. And I look at it, it is a bill that is seeking to amend the Income Tax Act. And this amendment will be to provide for exemption of capital gains in the transfer of property by a company to its shareholders. And this is as part of the internal reorganizations or on the transfer of property to the company by shareholders as a consideration for the transfer may dictate. The House is set to debate this bill by the Chair, Departmental Committee on Finance and the National Planning, who is Kure Kimani, and the member also serves as the Member of Parliament for Molo. But in this capacity, the House will be considering this bill coming from the committee in which he chairs, the Committee on Finance and National Planning. The business of the National Assembly is just about to commence any moment from now. We've had the procession of the Speaker, led by the Sergeant-at-Arms, making an announcement that the Speaker's procession is on its way to the chamber. Members of the National Assembly are already upstanding as part of the House rules when the Speaker's procession is making its way into the chamber this afternoon, technically indicating that the business of the House will be commencing any moment from now. But that notwithstanding, the report of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding public petition number 21 of the year 2025 on access to healthcare facility and healthcare services by cancer patients across the country is also lined up for debate this afternoon. I can see the Speaker of the House, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, already in the chamber. So allow me to hand over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
Mheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Tukusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tukuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote atakayofikisha mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao hawajazaa wamezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, currently presiding over the business of the National Assembly this afternoon, has directed the Sergeant-at-Arms to ring the quorum bell for a few minutes, with that directive guided by the House Standing Orders number 34 on matters quorum upon the commencement of business. As you await for that quorum to be attained, before I handed you over, I was just informing you of yet another matter coming up for debate before the National Assembly, being a motion on the report of the Public Petitions Committee. This is rather a report by the Departmental Committee on Matters Health that followed a public petition. It is petition number 21 of the year 2025 in regards to access to healthcare services by cancer patients across the country. This being a matter of interest among many Kenyans. The Committee on Health, led by Honorable James Nyekal, followed up on that particular petition on that matter of public interest. And upon looking into that petition by the petitioner, tabled its report on the table of the National Assembly on the 8th day of April, the year being 2026. And in its fact-finding mission in regards to access of healthcare to cancer patients, the committee recommended that pursuant to provisions of Standing Orders number 277 of the National Assembly, the recommendations are a number. I'll just be highlighting a few that are pegged on that standing order. And the committee made a number of recommendations that the Cabinet Secretary for Health and the Social Health Authority, SHA, will or are required to urgently review the tariffs of healthcare services of the year 2025. And this review is that the duo, this being the Cabinet Secretary for Health and the Social Health Authority, will be reviewing these tariffs with view of enhancing the oncology benefits to a maximum of 800,000 Kenya shillings. The other recommendation is that the Ministry of Health as well as the Social Health Authority do undertake civic education on the benefits packages as well as the tariffs, with a focus on cancer care services, and reports to the committee within 4 months upon tabling of this report. This report was tabled in April, that is technically this month, at the beginning of this month. So the Ministry of Health and SHA have until August to bring a report before the committee in regards to whether they have undertaken civic education to inform Kenyans in regards to benefit packages, especially this being a tailor-made for cancer patients. The Social Health Authority is also required to reimburse health facilities within 90 days in accordance to the Regulation 59, subsection 1A of the Social Health Insurance Regulations of the year 2024, and that SHA contracts for the provision of healthcare services and the reports to the House equally within 4 months. So in a nutshell, this report by the Departmental Committee on Matters Health, that is led by Honorable James Nyikal, has recommended a number of measures to streamline the issues of services offered to cancer patients across the country by the Ministry of Health through SHA and a number of health facilities.
We also have a supplementary order paper which you will bring me a copy.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, we'll go to statements. I have some communications that I'll deliver in a short while. Let's start with statements. Member for Emuhaya, Mwalimu Omboko Milemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 43, I rise to make a general statement regarding concerns raised by teachers during the recently concluded trade union elections. Honorable Speaker, following the recent concluded trade union elections, I wish to first and foremost to express my sincere gratitude to teachers across the country for the confidence they have shown in me by re-electing me as the national chairperson of CUPET. I am deeply humbled by this renewed mandate and remain committed to advancing the interests of the teaching profession and strengthening the education sector. During the elections, Honorable Speaker, teachers drawn from Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers deliberated on a wide range of issues affecting the profession and the sector at large. Key among the matters raised were the management of Teacher Service Commission, the implementation of the Collective Bargaining Agreement CBA, recruitment and promotion of teachers, teachers' welfare, the restructuring of the Kenya National Examination Council, and the timely disbursement of school capitation funds. Honorable Speaker, teachers across the country have underscored the urgent need to strengthen governance and professionalism within the sector. In particular, they have called for a substantive appointment of a chief executive officer at the Teacher Service Commission to ensure stability and effective leadership, as well as the separation of its employer and regulatory roles through the establishment of an independent professional body for teachers. They further urge the accelerated implementation of the 38 billion CBA in 2 phases, as promised by the executive through adequate budgetary allocation. alongside the transition of the 44,000 intern teachers to permanent and pensionable terms, and the promotion of at least 50,000 teachers annually to address long-standing stagnation and declining morale. Honorable Speaker, concerns were also raised on curriculum, healthcare, and examination management. Teachers are advocating for the decoupling of junior secondary school from the current comprehensive school structure to allow for greater autonomy and efficiency. They also expressed dissatisfaction with the Social Health Authority SHA proposing either reversal to Minette medical scheme or the establishment of an independent mechanism for comprehensive cover for teachers within SHA. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, they have called upon the Kenya National Examination Council to ensure the timely payment of dues to invigilators, supervisors, and marking of examinations. Notably, the 2025 National Examination Officers have not been paid. Teachers further seek the protection and expansion of hardship allowance areas, harmonization of municipality allowances, and the regulation of acting appointments by keeping them at 6 months with payment of full responsibility allowances during the period of acting. Finally, Honorable Speaker, teachers have emphasized the need for the timely and fully disbursement of a capitation funds as prescribed at the rates of 22,200 for senior schools, 15,000 for junior schools, and 1,400 for primary schools to support the effective implementation of school programs and ensure stability across the education system. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mboko Milemba. That being a general statement, it elicits no joyriders or debate. We take it as presented. Deco Barrow, member for Garissa Town.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the disappearance of Mr. Adan Haret Lohos from Garissa Town constituency. Honorable Speaker, on the 26th November 2023, Mr. Adam Haret Lohos, a police officer, disappeared under mysterious circumstances after he was last seen at his residence in Garissa Town. The incident was reported at Garissa Police Station under OB number 38/28/12/2023, yet his whereabouts remain unknown to date. The prolonged disappearance of Mr. Lohos has caused immense distress and anguish to his family and raises concerns regarding the protection of fundamental rights and freedom as granted under the Article 29 of the Constitution. It is further reported that as remittance of his salary was discontinued on the 30th of September 2024, thereby leaving the family without a source of livelihood and compounding the hardship occasioned by his disappearance. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. On the status of investigation into the disappearance of Mr. Adan Haret Lohos, reported to Garissa Police Station under OB number 38/28/12/2023, and the efforts being undertaken to retrace his whereabouts. 2, the reasons for the delay in resolving the matter having been reported in November 2023 and the support mechanism, if any, extended to the family. 3, the circumstances under which the remittance of his salary was discontinued and whether this implies termination of his employment, and if so, indicate the fate of his gratuities and other benefits owed. And 4, the measures being undertaken to safeguard the rights of missing persons and ensure timely investigation into cases of enforced disappearance or unexplained missing persons in the country. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deco. Yes, Russell? How can a policeman disappear without a trace like that?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In fact, that period is long enough because he's saying November 2023. But I think the standing orders also are clear that within a certain period, when an officer like that one disappears or cannot be traced, then there is always a report that they will cease to be an employee. It has not been reported he died or is in some sort of custody, but he will not be paid or the family cannot be paid. But Honorable Speaker will respond.
When can you respond?
First week after we resume.
Okay. And Deco, you know, under the law, if you don't see or hear of him for 7 years, then you can go and take out a death certificate. George Gashagwa.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2, Part C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock regarding the delayed contractual payment to Guangzhou Construction Company Limited for the construction of the Ndaragwa horticultural project in Ndaragwa constituency. Honorable Speaker, in the year 2016, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock awarded Guangzhou Construction Company a tender for the construction of the Ndaragwa horticultural project under the smallholder horticultural marketing program through tender number MOALF-SCMD-SDA-2/2015-2016. The company commenced works on 9th May 2016 and successfully completed the project on 26th August 2016. Thereafter, several inspection meetings were conducted and concluded on 18th October 2016, which confirmed that the works met the required contractual and technical standards. However, despite the project's successful completion, the contractor has to date not been paid for works amounting to Kenya shillings 16,470,112. This prolonged delay in payment has caused severe financial hardship to the company and adversely affected the livelihoods of employees. Additionally, the handover of the project is yet to be conducted and the market currently remains unused. Consequently, local traders continue to operate from open spaces and makeshift stalls, notwithstanding the completion of the Ndaragwa horticultural market. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on the following. A, reasons for the delay in payment of the outstanding contractual dues of Kenya shillings 16,470,112 to Guangzhou Construction Company Limited. B, the specific timelines within which the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock intends to settle the outstanding amount and open the market for use by farmers. And C, measures being put in place by the government to ensure that contractors undertaking government projects are fully and promptly compensated upon completion of works in accordance with contractual obligations. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker,
yes.
I wanted to bring it to your attention that I had presented this statement sometimes last year. I was requesting your indulgence so that at least the people concerned can can take matters seriously and at least respond to this, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, where is the Chair Agriculture, Dr. Mutunga? Any member of Agriculture Committee? Majority Leader, I'm told this matter was before the House a year ago, so we don't need to take too long on it. If you can tell the Chair to bring a response on Wednesday afternoon.
Next week, yes.
Next week. Thank you. Adewario, North Horr.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a settlement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs regarding the implementation of enhanced continuous voter registration exercise by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission in Northern Constituency. Honorable Speaker, on 30th March 2026, the IEBC rolled out enhanced continuous voter registration exercise across the country with the objective of facilitating mass voter registration and related services through stations set up in all the 1,450 wards in the country. However, the implementation of the exercise in Northern Constituency has been constrained by logistical and infrastructure challenges arising from the vast geographical size of the constituency. Northern Constituency is the largest constituency in the country, spanning 39,000 square kilometers, which is 3 times the former Central Province, with the wards that are expansive and characterized by limited infrastructure and internet connectivity. While the Commission deployed voter registration clerks in the station, these efforts remain inadequate in light of the distances involved and the limited logistical support available to facilitate effective mobility across the wards. Additionally, other services such as voter transfer and changes of particulars are largely restricted to the constituency headquarters because the Commission's internet source is located to the location. This has imposed significant financial and logistical burdens on the residents, many of whom have to travel long distances to access these services. Noting that the enhanced continuous voter registration exercise is scheduled to conclude on 28 April 2026, these challenges risk undermining an enjoyment of the political rights and the right to equality as guaranteed under Article 27 and 38 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that a request for a settlement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on the following. 1. A report on the number of newly registered voters, voter transfers, and changes of particulars recorded in Northern Constituency since the Commission commenced enhanced continuous voter registration exercise. 2. The reasons for limiting access to voter transfer and related service to the constituency headquarters, and the steps being taken by the Commission to decentralize these services to the ward level registration centers, given the expansive nature of the Northern Constituency. And finally, the immediate and long-term measures being implemented by IEBC to ensure that citizens in the vast and marginalized constituencies are not disenfranchised from the voter registration and related exercise due to limited logistical barriers. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Wario. Is Murugara in the house? Okay. Anybody from JLAC? Yes, Honorable Member. Can you bring a response the first week after recess?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery Kalia Academy from Bureti, Kericho, Green Mount School from Lurambi, Kakamega. I've been requested by the Honorable Bishop Hamala to give him a minute to welcome the school from his constituency.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to take this opportunity to welcome one of my best performing schools in my constituency, Green Mount School, together with their principal and their teachers. This is one of our great iconic schools that post wonderful, excellent results that put our constituency always at the top. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. On behalf of the House and myself, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Majority Leader, your Thursday statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders 44.2a, I rise to present the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 21st April 2026, to prioritize business for consideration during the week and business coming before the House in the following week. Honorable Speaker, with regard to business scheduled for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to continue with consideration of the Income Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2026, should it not be concluded today. And the House will also consider the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, continuation of debate that was adjourned this week, and Committee of the Whole House. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the House will continue with the consideration of the following motions, should they not be concluded today. 1, inquiry into the pricing of tea in Kenya. 2, the 6th report on the audited accounts for the Stores and Services Fund and the Occupational Safety and Health Fund for the financial year 2020-2021 and 2021-2022. 3, the 10th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022. 4 is the 11th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022. 5 is report on public petition number 021 of 2025 regarding access to healthcare by cancer patients in the country. 6 is the report on inspection visit to the East African Science and Technology Commission and the East African Health Research Commission. And finally, 7 is report of the Kenya delegation to the 151st Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee shall reconvene again on Tuesday, 28th April 2026 to schedule business for the rest of that week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Call out order number 2.
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of time for consideration.
Let's dispose of order number 2 first.
For 2, yes. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honourable members, I have a short communication to make on the designation of an interim chairperson to the Public Investment Committee of Governance and Education. Honourable members, you recall that on Wednesday, 22nd April 2026, I apprised the House of a formal complaint regarding allegations of bribery leveled against the chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education, the Honourable Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP. Consequently, I refer the matter to the Committee of Powers and Privileges for investigation and suspended the Honourable Wamboka from the chairpersonship of the committee for the duration of the inquiry. In order to ensure continuity in the discharge of the committee's mandate, I directed the leader of the minority party to nominate an interim chairperson of the committee by midday on Thursday, that's today, 23rd April 2026. All members, I wish to notify the House that I have since received a letter from the leader of the minority party conveying the nomination of the Honourable Dick Maungu MP, member for Luanda, to serve as the interim chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education. In this regard, the Honourable Dick Maungu MP shall become the interim chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education with immediate effect and shall serve for the duration of the inquiry by the Committee of Powers and Privileges or until resolved otherwise by the House. This interim arrangement will safeguard the uninterrupted work of this critical watchdog committee whose mandate remains time-sensitive and central to the House's oversight responsibility. Honourable members, as the interim chairperson, the Honourable Maungu is expected to ensure that the work of the committee proceeds efficiently, impartially, and strictly within the confines of its mandate, while upholding the dignity, integrity, and public trust bestowed to the House and its committees. For avoidance of doubt, the Honourable Dick Maungu MP assumes all powers, rights, and privileges bestowed upon a chairperson of a committee by standing orders, resolutions of the House, and practices of the House. Honourable members, this appointment is made purely in the interest of preserving the effective functioning of the committee and should not be construed as prejudicing the outcome of the inquiry currently before the Committee of Powers and Privileges. The House is accordingly guided, and I thank you. Next order. Yes, Amelia Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was not in yesterday when this arose, but I just wanted, perhaps just for my information, as a whip, to know how long the suspension is, or rather that duration. And also, Mr. Speaker, I know sometimes as women we are invisible, but I sit here as the whip. Thank you.
You are never visible. You are the most visible member in this House, Millie. And to be fair, you have just arrived this morning from Istanbul, haven't you? Yes. So when the matter was actively being prosecuted, you are not there, and your leader is the leader of the minority party. And under the standing orders, he is your leader until you tell us otherwise. And he's the one who has nominated Honorable Dick Maungu. Next order, honorable members, the next orders 8, 9, and 10 are purely procedural motions to be moved by the majority leader, and we should dispose them off within the shortest time possible. Majority leader? Call out, hold on, they have not called out the order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of time for consideration of a specified matter.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6, and the standing orders of the National Assembly, this House resolves to extend the period for the inquiry into allegations of bribery against the Honourable Jack Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP, the suspended chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education, by a period of 14 days with effect from 20th May 2026. Honourable Speaker, this is just a procedural motion to allow the Fair Administrative Justice Act, or rather in line with the Fair Administrative Justice Act, to allow a fair administrative process to be followed and give fair hearing to all parties that will be participants in this matter. And also considering that we are going on a short 3 weeks recess, that is also quite a busy period. That's why we have this procedural motion. I beg to move and request CJ, the Honourable TJ Kajwang, to second.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the issue of fair administration of actions is a constitutional matter. We also passed the law which regulates that constitutional right to every Kenyan. Issues of powers and privileges is a serious issue in this House. And as you know, that committee is composed of some of the most high-ranking members of this House. And so if we are looking at a colleague's issue, we must look at it with a tooth comb, because it could be you, it could be me. And so we need to have a sufficient period of time to be able to look at all corners, all the coins, and all the issues that are involved. And so I second this motion that we have enough time to be able to look at this matter. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable Mandas, take your seats. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6, and the standing orders of the National Assembly, this House resolves to extend the period for the inquiry into allegations of bribery against the Honorable Jack Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP, the suspended chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education by a period of 14 days with effect from 20th May 2026. You put the question? Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6, and the standing orders of the National Assembly, this House resolves to extend the period for the inquiry into allegations of bribery against the Honorable Jack Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP, the suspended chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education by a period of 14 days with effect from 20th May 2026. As members of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, procedural motion. Designation of a member to chair the proceedings of the Committee of Powers and Privileges.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House resolves that the Honorable Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House resolves that the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, CBS MP, chairs the proceedings of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on behalf of the Honorable Speaker for purposes of the inquiry into the allegations of bribery against the Honorable Jack Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP, the suspended chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education. Honorable Speaker, again, this is a procedural motion, as the Deputy Speaker indicated in her communication yesterday afternoon. Since the report will still come back to plenary, where you'll be chairing, or the Speaker will be chairing, and the Speaker happens to be the chair of the Powers and Privileges Committee. And as has been indicated by the Honorable TJ, this committee has very seasoned members. Amongst the most ranking members of the House, members like Honorable Gonzi Rai, somebody like Honorable Kuton, Honorable Moroto, who I think is serving his 5th or 4th term. We have one first-term member who is a lawyer, Honorable Maina, Jerry Maina, the member for Kirinyaga. And Honorable Speaker, we have a very good blend of seasoned members, commissioners like Honorable Faith Gitao, all hands like and seasoned members, ranking members like Honorable Mwangi Kiunjuri, who is doing his 4th term, Honorable Jessica Mbalu, who has served in the Speaker's panel, Honorable Farah Maalim, who has also served as Deputy Speaker of this House. Therefore, is indeed a council of elders, so to say, but has a good blend of even fresh and younger blood, so that even the first-time members of Parliament, we were very deliberate when setting up this committee, that we may have continuity and have even first-time members serving in this committee to be able to learn on how to deal with such matters. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that and ask the House that we do agree with the communication yesterday that the Honorable Chepkonga, a seasoned lawyer also and a ranking member of this House, to be able to chair this committee on behalf of the chair of this committee, who also happens to be our Speaker. And with that, I beg to move and request the Honorable CJ TJ Kajuang, member for Oraka, to second.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also waiting to join this Council of Elders, but I guess this is the reason I am being asked to second this motion, because I have been around for quite some time. Mr. Speaker, I want to second this motion, and this is the best that it can get. The last time we had, in your predecessor's period, we had an issue such as this. And we had not modeled the Act on procedure and the Act on standing orders to be able to deputize or to designate somebody else for this. And so we had a very rough time because Speaker Muturi had a practical issue that here I am the Speaker. I've been voted by these members. I cannot sit on judgment over some of your issues. And here I am the chairman of Parliamentary Service Commission. It would be a conflict of interest to stand in judgment over some of these issues that are raised. But we went around the standing orders and we looked at the law, and we nominated then the Deputy Speaker, Moses Cheboy, to be able to chair that committee. Now it is easier because the law and the procedure has been remodeled. And Mr. Speaker, this is the best it can get because you are aware, you are not only aware of the Constitution, but you are also aware of the law which we passed the other day, conflict of interest, and you are also a Kenyan, that you generally come from the general place where our mentioned colleague comes from. It would be in the people's head that how is it that you could be the chair of this, something will have to happen whichever way it goes. So you are a Kenyan and we are also in this context. So it has been very thoughtful of the majority leader to have brought this, this motion to be able to take balances of all the issues that are involved. And I want to second this, that we should be able to designate a member, a seasoned member, to be able to be the chair of this committee. Thank you very much. I second.
Other member on his feet, take your seat. Honorable, take your seat. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 9, which is that this House resolves that the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, CBS MP, chairs the proceedings of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on behalf of the Honorable Speaker for the purposes of the inquiry into allegations of bribery against the Honorable Jack Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP, the suspended chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education. I put the question. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 9, which is that this House resolves that the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, CBS MP, chairs the proceedings of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on behalf of the Honorable Speaker for the purposes of the inquiry into the allegations of bribery against the Honorable Jack Wanami Wamboka, CBS MP, the suspended chairperson of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, procedural motion, extension of time for consideration of the nominee for appointment as High Commissioner to Ottawa, Canada.
Nelson Koech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion that pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, relating to the extension of period for consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office. This House resolves to extend the period of consideration of the nominee for appointment as High Commissioner to Ottawa, Canada, by a period of 14 days from 14th May 2026.
Who is seconding you?
Should I proceed as a, oh yeah, it's a procedural motion, sorry.
Yes, it's a procedural motion.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, this request is purely procedural and is intended to allow the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations sufficient time to conclude its consideration of the nominee Mr. Humphrey Watanga. The committee, having considered the request for extension, including a request by the nominee himself for additional time, and being satisfied that it is consistent with the provisions of the Act, the committee then has resolved to seek this additional time to ensure that all the aspects of the nominee's suitability are comprehensively examined. The committee remains committed to conducting a thorough and diligent review process in keeping with its oversight mandates, so that all relevant issues are adequately addressed before the final determination is made. Honorable Speaker, the position of High Commissioner to Canada is of great strategic importance to our country, particularly in advancing diplomatic relations, trade, and international cooperation. It is therefore imperative that the approval process is not only timely, but also thorough and well considered. Honorable Speaker, I now request my able deputy, Major Retired Sheikh Abdullahi Bashir, to second the motion.
Bashir.
And the Vice Chair of the committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, as a committee, we had a very exhaustive discussion this morning.
Which chair are you addressing?
Honorable Speaker.
Go on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and this morning as a committee, we had exhaustive discussions and deliberations on this matter of vetting process. As you are well aware, the Act allows 28 days for the committee to dispense of this matter. However, we also have on the same Act that gives us an allowance of 14 days within which to maneuver on the same. So we had a discussion on the same and agreed as a committee that we will need this kind of extension so that we dispense of this matter as quickly as possible. So therefore, I second this procedural motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Take your seat. Majority Leader, honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 10, which is that pursuant the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, relating to extension of period for consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the nominee for appointment as High Commissioner to Ottawa, Canada, by a period of 14 days from 14th May 2026. You put the question? Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that pursuant the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, relating to extension of period for consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the nominee for appointment as High Commissioner to Ottawa, Canada, by a period of 14 days from 14th May 2026. As members of that opinion say aye. To those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, motion, inquiry into the pricing of tea in Kenya, resumption of debate.
Honorable members, records show that the last member on the floor was Honorable Gitonga Mkunji, who had exhausted his time. I see on the screen Rindikiri Mugambi. Are you queuing for this? Esther Pasaris, are you queuing for this? Victor Koech, are you queuing for this? Gideon Mulyungi, are you queuing for this? Who? He says no. Gigi Kagombe, are you queuing for this? Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this report. It is true. You formed a committee and asked us to go and investigate and find out exactly what is ailing the small-scale tea sector, and we did. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we found out is that we have a systemic problem, especially in the West of Rift. And this systemic problem is caused by tea hawking that happens in the West. The proliferation of private factories that have been, praying for tea produce from the farmers, from the small-scale holder farmers, has created an existential threat. It is very difficult to put in proper mechanisms to have proper quality of tea effected by the KTDA holder factories around there. Reason being, Mr. Speaker, that we have 71 factories that are fighting for the same produce as the KTDA factories in that area. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we would ask the Ministry of Agriculture, especially through the Tea Board of Kenya, to make sure that they curb this menace of tea hawking, because they're the people who are licensing these very many factories that are against the law because they do not have requisite tea bushes to prune from. That said, Mr. Speaker, it is also imperative that we ask our farmers to make sure that they elect people who can take care of their produce, people who can take care of their monies. The allegations and the issues that we found out of people meeting just to have, sitting allowances and that, and there were serious allegations, would be curbed and would be cured by having relevant and right people in those positions. What would ask this House to do is to prevail upon the State Department of Agriculture to implement the measures and to make sure that we have in place regulations for the Tea Act that are now supposed to effect the proper conduct of leaders and the proper conduct of all the people in the value chain. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support the report and say that the findings of the committee be implemented to the latter. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
You are done? Esther Passares, are you queuing for this? No. Gideon Mulyungi, you are not for this. Milemba?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The tea issue, when it came to the floor of the House, I'm surprised now not many members want to speak to it. But that particular time, there was a rubble and a rouse on the pricing of the farmers, especially from the West. And though I'm not a very serious tea farmer, I have a few tea farmers from my area. It almost sounded like one region was being disfavored while the other region was being favored. So yesterday, when this motion was actually on the floor, we actually deferred it so that these members can speak to it. I'm surprised they are not speaking. But let me say a few things of what I've already gathered. That it seems the management of the tea factories in the West is not being done very well. That the people elected as the directors are having too many meetings at the expense of the farmers themselves. And therefore, much of what otherwise should have been earned by farmers as dividends is being actually earned by the directors themselves. It also turned out, Honorable Speaker, that some of the directors of the tea factories, and I'm speaking to this so that even the farmers and the Kenyans can listen to this and become part and parcel of this debate, that some of the directors from the West are actually the same panelists that do lend this or hire their vehicles to the tea factories at very exorbitant prices. And this therefore makes even the profits that otherwise would have gone to dividends of these farmers even get lower and lower. It further reoccurred that some tea factories, yes, have gone ahead to produce their own power. But again, the tea factories are not allowed to use this power so that they can use the same power to generate what runs their factories. Instead, they have to connect the same power to the main grid before it is against resupply to them, and therefore they are not able to benefit from what they have originally generated in order to reduce the costs. And therefore it was advised that a law be made in this sector which can allow the factories to actually use their own generated power, and this will reduce their cost of production in that particular space. And everything, Honorable Speaker, went on like there are things that are not being done right in the West. And I want those members of Parliament from the West to actually pick up this matter, because the mover of the motion was very clear on a number of items that make the Eastern tea then become more expensive and earn more dividends than the one from the West. This will be for the benefit of our farmers from the areas of Mudete, the areas of Bunyore, and other environs in the West, which the farmers are crying for, that the tea prices are very, very low. And therefore, the interrogation by this committee was very, very important. And this report needs to be really tooth-combed so that we come up with a final product that will actually help this tea. They also talked about, when we speak about the marketing of the tea, that the tea is not marketed, branded, that is just marketed holistically. And further that this tea is mainly bought by only two markets, one in Egypt and another one in Pakistan. And those are all issues around the space which I would wish honorable members from the tea growing areas take a very serious action and contribution to this motion so that we may make our farmers from those areas get the correct dividends. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to contribute to this report of the Committee on Tea. Honorable Speaker, I come from a tea growing area where we have tea farmers in Kapsara and the Cherangani area, Munyaka. We also have them in Saboti, Kabretwa area. And this forms the areas which we are calling the West. Honorable Speaker, the other areas where tea is grown is where they are calling the East. And this subdivision makes it very difficult for our farmers, especially within the Western region. And, but I would want to, Honorable Speaker, attribute this to the leadership, the directors that our farmers elect to represent them, because these matters are not new. These matters about tea pricing, tea marketing, and how our farmers can be helped is a matter that has been there long enough. And I think this report, to me, is a wake-up call to our directors and the leadership of the tea-growing areas, especially within the western part. And this, Honorable Speaker, is what discourages farmers, because many farmers put a lot of effort in cultivating the crop, buying fertilizer to do the top dressing, making picking, and yet at the end of the day, the returns are very low. You will find that our farmers go through very difficult road network, and I would want to thank His Excellency the President for recently advertising for the construction of the road through Muaita all the way to Kapsara, and then to Arba, and all the way to Kesogon, because that will make it easier for farmers within that area to be able to take their tea to Kapsara factory. And that, Honorable Speaker, I think for us as people from Trans Nzoia will create a milestone, because many of our tea reaching market has become problems, because especially with the poor road network, where during rainy season, Honorable Speaker, you'll find that our lorries get stuck, and you are not able to make sure that this your produce reaches in time, and therefore we end up with wastages, and this contributes to what the farmers get. and even their bonuses, Honorable Speaker, go low. And you know, more often, farmers depend on what they are able to get and even whatever is saved as a bonus at the end of the year. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we also want to thank the government of President Ruto for lowering the prices of fertilizer, because when you lower the price of fertilizer from 7,000 to 2,500, it gives the farmer an opportunity to be able to make sure that the productivity is increased and at the same time the returns are better. Honorable Speaker, what I would want to urge is that many of the farmers are facing difficulties in getting the fertilizer, especially within our cereals. Even this morning, one of the MCS for Nabiswa, Jemanuru, called me asking me that farmers within that area of Nabiswa have been waiting for fertilizer for top tracing for the last 2 weeks, Honorable Speaker. And I think those who are responsible for transportation of fertilizer to Kitale cereals, I think they need to wake up, because farmers should not be trailing, especially now that we need the fertilizer for top tracing, both for our maize and also for our tea. And therefore, I think this is a big letdown that I want to call upon those who are responsible to make sure that they take that responsibility. With those comments, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the report.
Okay.
Thank you.
CNN, not CNN, double N. We have CNN and double N.
Yes, double N is the woman rep for Embu County, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity.
So the other one is because C double N.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I stand again to add my voice regarding the report that was tabled by the Committee on Agriculture.
What do you mean you stand again? Have you spoken on this?
No, it's my first time.
Okay.
It's my first time, Honorable Speaker, that I'm supporting the report by the Committee of Agriculture regarding the report that was brought to the House. And I want to state that it is not about the West and the East. It is about the quality of tea that the farmers grow. It is about the representation of the farmers from the West and the representation of the farmers from the East. And Honorable Speaker, when I was campaigning in 2022, in Embu County for the county MP seat, one of the things that we were campaigning on the platform was about the tea prices in Embu County and how well the directors and the management of the factories, the tea factories in Embu County would be able to ensure that the tea farmers in Embu County will be able to ensure that the tea farmers will get good prices. And Honorable Speaker, right now it is not about the West, it's about the management of the directors in the counties where tea is grown in the West. And Honorable Speaker, in the East, for example, in Rokorire Tea Factory, that was leading and has been leading in terms of the bonuses and the payments of the tea farmers, alongside the Mongania and the other tea factory in Embu County. It's all about management. So I want to urge our people, our tea farmers in the West, to ensure that the directors or the managers who manage or who represent them in the tea sector are well versed with what they are required to do. Otherwise, if they continue having the directors and the people who represent them, not just representing them, but representing themselves, the interests of the farmers ignored, then the West will continue making noise as the East continue getting good prices for their tea. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the report by the Committee of Agriculture and urge the people from the East to continue making sure that they have the right quality and the right quantity for tea so that they can continue earning better prices, not now, but even in the future. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Komingoi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think first I want to state that Bureti constituency is one of the tea-growing constituencies and regions of the country situated in the west of Rift. I agree to the recommendations, but there are some recommendations, Honorable Speaker. I would want to highlight the concerns of the farmers of West of Rift. It is not true that the West of Rift does not have quality tea. It is also not true that the West of Rift has received equal treatment in the KTDA system, as has been said by the report. We are aware that there is only one managing agent of the tea factories, that is KTDA. And KTDA managers are able to be transferred from one region to another. So about the expertise or about the question of the factory management is entirely the management of KTDA. It is also true, Honorable Speaker, that when a farmer has plucked his tea and KTDA has accepted the tea at the tea buying center, then the honors of good quality tea then rests at the factory management, which is managed by KTDA. So that question about management of factories on the West of Rift should actually be looked into more carefully, because it is being used as a cover to imagine that the tea from the West of Rift is good. The second observation that was made by the committee, Honorable Speaker, is that the West of Rift is too far from Mombasa, and therefore they incur higher costs of transportation, of insurance, and of freight. If it is true that Kisii, Western Province, and Kericho is too far from Mombasa where the auction is happening, then this committee should have also made a recommendation to open another auction in the West of Rift so that the buyers can come to that area and buy tea and then off-take tea from the farmers for the sake of reducing the cost of the farmers. KTDA, therefore, is responsible in opening the markets to make sure that the market is opened up to access by all farmers. There is also another misnomer, Honorable Speaker, that the West of Rift, there is so much hawking of tea that is contributing to the low prices of tea or low quality of tea. I want to state here, and I want to go on record, Honorable Speaker, that there is no factory in the West of Rift that is operating below capacity. And because of the high production of tea in the West of Rift, and because of the high rainfall that is received in that region, we are able to produce more tea per bush than the East of Rift, and therefore we have more tea. To that extent, therefore, it must come to the position of this House to know that it is not the tea production that is making tea hawking an issue. And the tea hawking does not affect the quality of tea. Third, Honorable Speaker, is the question of KTDA investment in power production. It is not true to say that KTDA has done everything to make sure that the power production plants within the West of Rift has been in the forefront. The people of Kericho, and particularly Bureti, the 4 factories of Bureti, that is Kapkatet, Chelal, Tebesonic, and Litain, contributed nearly 1 billion shillings, almost 10 years ago, to a power plant that has not been completed by KTDA to date. To that extent, that means we are paying a higher cost with contribution that was made on incomes that are not earning any interest or any penalty on the contractor. And we are being told again, because of time, the inflationary tendencies that have accrued within the construction sector, that it is expected that these projects will cost higher. We want to ask from KTDA, where did you take the monies that were contributed by the West of Rift, such that there are no power plants and power factories that have been power plants that is supplementing the energy in the region? Number 2, Honorable Chair, if you check at the recommendation number 2, that the Ministry of Energy should implement the law on power wheeling. This law is in existence. The regulations have been made. They were passed by this House that we can wheel power. And therefore, that recommendation does not stand to the extent that KTDA are managing every factory in this country that have subscribed to them. And we, the people of West of Rift, are saying we are not going to sign new contracts with the management service of KTDA until they tell us the parameters and the things, the key performance indicators that we are going to sign with them, that they must comply with, and make sure that they contribute before we pay them. Because it is not a free service we are offering
they're offering the people of West of Rift. They are paying, we pay, the farmers pay KTDA to manage the factories. And the management is from transportation from the tea buying center up to the making sure that the tea is well made, tea is transported and actually sold. So to that extent, I would wish that this committee would have made a proper commendation about how KTDA is being done. There are even rumors, Chair, that the management, the marketing department of KTDA is partisan. And those are some of the things that we thought this report would bring out. Because the farmers were saying that their marketing department of KTDA is marketing tea largely from the other region. We do not know to what extent that is true. But we ought to have given, made sure that we raise these issues so that the people may know in their minds either that there is bias or there is no bias about the sale. And if that there is bias, that the management is actually biased, why don't we create two managing agencies within KTDA? We create a department that markets tea for the West of Rift, create another department that markets tea for the East of Rift, so that at the end of the day, we all can be able to be seen to be doing the right thing and accepting the cost as it is. So, Chair, Honorable Speaker.
Order, Honorable Ndikiri, what's your point of order?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker, this house is a house of records and facts. Mr. Speaker, you cannot bring a serious allegation without any substance or substantiation. That allegation of saying biasness by a marketing department is really not properly presented. You need to substantiate with facts. We are dealing with a very serious matter. We are dealing with a very serious matter in this country. The economic advantage of tea is very important. So please, let's not try and bring populism statement.
Honorable Speaker, this report is an inquiry.
It was not definitive.
And it's an inquiry into the pricing of tea in Kenya.
Order. The allegations are speculative. He says these people are saying this. He was not definitive to say that they are biased in their marketing. Then, of course, the Speaker can call upon you to substantiate why you are assertive, why you are definitive. But then when you say the people are saying that, then that's speculative. Continue. It's not neither here nor there. Anyway, continue.
Honorable Speaker, I'm raising that issue.
And conclude.
Yes, in conclusion, Honorable Speaker, I'm raising that issue because farmers are raising their concerns. Yes. This report needed to have come out conclusive and also openly to be able to be trusted. If you did not raise that matter and they inquire and the farmers raised it on the ground, then how do we trust the report? Because we want a report that can be implemented. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the question of the budget that was passed by this House.
This is a parliamentary report. It's a committee of parliament. And the committee of parliament is not drawn from one section of the country. It's my presumption that it is broad-based and represents the whole country. So that's another matter that you need to interrogate. Anyway, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the question about the management of the tea board.
What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, it is very unfortunate that a member of this House would want to take the floor of this House to prejudice the public. First of all, Speaker, there is no region called West and East. And every factory, and I'm saying this because I'm a director at one of the factories in Kiambu region. Every factory goes to the market by its garden mark. There's nothing called, oh, this is tea from the East of Rift. A tea is taken to the market, to the auction that happens here in Mombasa at the IATA. And it goes by a garden mark by a name, Kamba, Kagwe, Theta, Mogogosiek. It goes by its own name. So you cannot prejudice the public and say that there is favoritism in marketing a certain tea. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the role of marketing tea has been legislated by this House, and it is the role that is given to the Tea Board of Kenya and not KTDA. KTDA and KTDMS is just a management services. I sit in the board of KTDA Holdings, Mr. Speaker. This is a private company that is in the realm of private. So when
Order, you should have the common practice in this country is that if you're going to cite on something where there's an interest, you declare the interest before you start contributing. So you say, Mr. Speaker, I wish to declare.
I'm guided, Speaker. I wish to, and it is important that I do that now.
Yeah, declare
I'm
your
guided.
interest first.
Thank you, Chair. It is important from the onset to say that.
Where is the interest? What is the interest?
I am a farmer. I'm a tea farmer.
Yes.
And therefore,
Are you a member of KTDA?
By the date of being a tea farmer, I'm an elected director in Kiambu, in KTDA.
Okay.
And I sit in the board of Theta Tea Factory, in the board of Ndarugo Tea Factory, in the board of KTDA Holdings, and in the board of
Are you contributing or you're on a point of order now?
I was on a point of order
Now,
to clear the image
Get
that.
get through with the point of
Yes.
order.
So the point of order is.
Have you contributed
that
to this matter?
The role of marketing. Yes, I've contributed to this matter. The role of marketing is by Tea Board. It is not by KTDA. And even as you say here that you create two separate entities to market tea from one side and the other side, it is also important to understand the company he's talking about is a private company, Mr. Speaker. Okay. Therefore, even as we talk about it, we must understand that it falls in the realm of private.
You made your point.
Yes.
Conclude so that the next
Thank
speaker...
you, Honorable Speaker. You see, this report clearly states that there is west of Rift and east of Rift, and that was the basis for the inquiry. So it cannot be ignored. Chair.
That's the prevalence.
Yes. Finally, Chair, the Honorable Speaker, the question of recommendation number 3, that the factory's management should replace all dilapidated, inefficient machines. You would recall that in the previous budget that we are implementing right now, this House allowed an amount of monies to be used by factories to be accessed as a loan, and that's one of the things that I was key to see how we can be able to leverage now from the east, from the west of Rift, or any other factory for that matter, to be able to replace its equipment for it to be current and to be efficient in its production for the purposes of reducing the cost in the factories. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I leave it at that.
Okay. The MP for Igamba Ngombe, Chuka Ngombe, Honorable Twiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Eliza, one, as a tea farmer, I think I'm the biggest tea farmer in my constituency. 2, representing tea farmers from Chukega Ngombe constituency. Mr. Speaker, this matter is so serious that it makes me feel a lot of pain when I hear people trivializing it. And I want to thank Honorable Kagombe for clarifying that when we go to the market, people market tea according to the quality they produced in their factory. And every factory and every region elects their own directors. So if you go as a region and elect directors who are dealers, who are brokers, you go into a region and you find that the richest people are tea brokers, and then you start putting everybody in that mess. It's for people to go back and elect good directors. That's why it starts, before we go at the top. And I've been telling my people this in my constituency. You don't elect somebody who don't even know where the auction happens in Mombasa. We wanted to bring you a report that he has been given also by a 10th party. You know, those are the old men and women we are electing in the village as directors. And the tea auction is so complicated that they can't even understand how the dollar changed last week. They don't even understand what is happening in Pakistan or what is happening in Iran, which are one of our biggest buyers. So the directors, people electing in the village, people who just give them report that they have also been given by a third or a fourth party. So as we solve the tea problem in this country, is there a time that our people, when they go to elections to elect their directors, they elect capable people who can see through the conmanship that is there in the tea marketing? Mr. Speaker, even the East,
So
that people think it's...
Just for the interest of the chair, are you suggesting that they elect farmers or they elect brokers?
They elect a farmer, but a farmer with the capacity who can understand what goes on. Okay. You don't elect a farmer who sits in his house waiting for a report. and he has told Leo it has been bought at these
So
shillings.
You elect a farmer who has also had access to,
Yes, a
or
farmer
rather
who has
the knowledge
access
of tea brokerage.
Yes, a farmer who has access to information, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, even the price that people see as if it's too much for the East. Last year, bonus we got with 50 shillings. It's still little, even for that East. Tea in this, if you look at the market prices of tea in the international market, no farmer should earn, both from East or West or from wherever, no farmer should earn less than 70, 80 shillings per kg, Mr. Speaker. If the marketing of tea and brokerage is removed and brokers are reduced in the chain of marketing, Mr. Speaker. So the problem are the people we elect and so many brokers in the chain of marketing of tea, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I support the report.
I can only see an interest by Wandeto. Okay, Wandeto first. And then Munyora is the last person, and then I'll then call upon the mover to reply.
Okay, thank you very much.
Proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also contribute to this report on the inquiry
Honorable
on-
Ndikiri and the MP for Chuka Ngombe and the other MP for somewhere in Rift Valley. You consult in low tones.
Thank you, Speaker. So I would also like to contribute to this issue about pricing of tea. And Mr. Speaker, from the onset, since you have asked people to declare their interest, my interest in this matter is that I'm a tea farmer, a very small-scale tea farmer, and I also happen to come from a constituency where about 50% of my people grow tea. Mr. Speaker, I'm actually a product of coffee and tea because I was educated from the proceeds of coffee. Mr. Speaker, the issues that are raised here are very important. And I think all of us in this House, there's one thing that we all want: better outcome for our farmers. And it is very important that we do not play cheap politics with this matter, like we have just seen somebody trying to do in this House, trying to divide the country along regional or tribal lines. Tea is a commodity, just like it's been clarified, that is sold in the international market. Mr. Speaker, tea is actually sold, to the best of my understanding, and the people who are more knowledgeable here, like Honorable Kagombe, can correct me, it is based on the quality of tea. It is sold based on quality. And actually, I would like to mention that my own constituency, I have only one coffee factory called Gadudi Tea Factory. And consistently is one of the best performing factories in the country. Actually, last year, it declared the third highest bonus in the country. And my directors tell me that while some of the factories are selling the tea for January, they are probably done selling their tea for March. Because this is based on quality. And since it's an open market, it's a ready buyer, willing buyer, willing seller, this is based on the quality of tea. Some of the factors that contribute to the quality of tea may not be necessarily be factory-based. It could be things like the soils in an area. Some of those things have a bearing. But it could also be other things like processing and the nature of the factory and things like that. So, Mr. Speaker, coming to how can we improve the earnings from tea? Tea has traditionally been handled in two ways. There is a big factories, the bigger farms who own their own factories, and most of them happen to be in the Lift and Western. And then there are the smaller factories which are basically managed or given management services by KTDA. But Mr. Speaker, in KTDA system, we've also had a lot of inefficiencies. We've had a lot of what I would call non-core business. KTDA has, in the past, done a lot of non-core business, which has taken a lot of the tea farmers' earnings. From running insurance companies, running, stock exchanges in Dubai, running some things like transportation services and things like that. So how can we improve KTDA to basically focus on its core business? KTDA is a private company, but handling a largely public good, because tea is grown by millions of small-scale farmers. And for a long time, KTDA has always attempted to push government away from its management. So what I would suggest that in the report, how can we improve our oversight, on the affairs of KTDA? The other thing, Mr. Speaker, tea is sold weekly. So again, we've always wondered, why are farmers paid a very small amount monthly, and then they are only paid a bonus once a year? Mr. Speaker, for example, last week, I received a bonus of 6 shillings only. And now I have to wait for the main bonus, which may be paid by the end of the year. Yet the tea that I picked last month has already been sold. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, there has also been the government playing around with this crop through what I would call poor diplomatic initiatives. For example, what we have been doing with Sudan, with the RSF, has costed us the Sudanese market. So again, Mr. Speaker, the government here is not without blame on doing things that have basically compromised the tea market. But overall, I rise to support that we should do whatever we can to basically improve the plight and the earnings of our poor and hardworking tea farmers in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the report. I think I come from Mount Kenya West, and my constituency is Kigumo. We have 3 tea factories. And this discussion, because even in my constituency, we never get the same pay for the different factories. There are so many factors that determine the price of tea. Tea is sold in the auction house. Tea is tasted. You cannot force someone who's buying tea to like your taste. So the buyers always prefer the tea that tastes better, and from what they've done and from history, what we've seen so far, they prefer our tea, and that's why it commands a higher price. 95% of our tea is sold abroad, out of the country. And that tells you, as much as you try and divide this into a Mount Kenya and East-West tea zone, the issue of tea will remain with the buyer. For those who consume wine, if a sommelier prescribes a wine that is premium to the other, based on taste, you cannot dispute, because the buyer will always go with what they taste. So I am saying that one of the things that we also need to agree is that factories are empowered to decide who brokers their tea. So each factory, they choose their brokerage firm. And once they decide their brokerage firm, they cannot come back to us and tell us that their tea has been either undersold or the prices are wrong. I will still insist. We will never accept as a region from our area that our tea is based on some. There was a proposal before that tea is sold at a certain price, then we look at a premium. Tea must command its rightful price. If it's premium, our premium tea must get the right price for its being premium. And I will repeat, tea is sold by taste. It is taste. And if our taste has consistently been better and preferred by the buyer than other tastes, I think you can't blame us for us. Number 2, there is the issue of the attitude. Wandeto has raised the issue of an area. There is the soil, attitude, altitude, that is. How high are you? How close are you? How cold is the area? What is the climate? All those factors go to decide tea. In my region, we do not encourage tea hawking. Because once you encourage hawking, that encourages people to not pick good quality tea. They just pick any tea and sell to the brokers outside there. But our tea has been controlled. I will still maintain that it must be controlled so that we keep picking premium tea. So I support, and I'm unhappy when I hear people say that there are some preferences given to some regions. Like I said, I have 3 factories. The best factory in this country comes from my constituency, consistently, called Gasharage. And their tea is premium. The next factory, called Ikobe, gets a slightly lower price. And we will never complain and say that each factory must be paid as Gasharage is getting, because they're getting their premium tea because it's superior. So I support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I don't see any fire. Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Whereas I support the report, I wish to appeal to the House, Mr. Speaker, that the complaints from the divides of tea growers in this country is not something to be wished away and played down. I think there is need to do a better inquiry because we cannot claim that those who recommended that we grow tea in certain areas in Kenya were wrong, or over time something went wrong. We need a proper research, a scientific report on whether it is the soil, whether it is the harvesting, whether it is the processing in the factories, or the storage at the time and at the auction stores. The second thing that I heard from the contribution in this House is that some of the teas are being marketed and they are the ones who are attracting the international market. Now, there is a lot of complaint, and I think we need to give it a fair hearing and a fair understanding. There is a lot of discomfort. I come from neighborhood to the tea growing areas, and we hear this complaint all the time. So by bashing it or playing it down is not really encouraging. We need to speak to the interest of farmers and do more and better research on it. Let us avoid the issue of politics of West and East, but let us listen to the complaint of the farmers themselves. So, Mr. Speaker, some of us been thinking, if the same KTDA cannot give the farmers, all of them, satisfactory answer that all of them will be satisfied, it means then, why don't you get another organization to market the other side and make sure that the same problem is addressed differently? Because if you do the same thing the same way all the time, you may not get the answer. So I am appealing to the committee and this House to listen to that complaint. It may not have been expressed as it may have attracted some better and more research, but it will not serve the people of Kenya if we dismiss it and downplay it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't come from the tea growing zone, but I think I'll make some observations because I'm a consumer of tea. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we need to give credit to the current government is that the prices of tea have gone up. And the reason why they have gone up is as a result of intervention of so many factors. One is the limitation or the influence that there were so many tea brokers. Number two is that the Kenyan tea, the quality of Kenyan tea has grown, particularly from the areas that grow high quality tea. The other reason is the reduction of expenses, but specifically the input of fertilizer. And so many other factors, because the government has really intervened, even trying to expand the market out there. I give credit to many of our high commissions and embassies out there for organizing various expos where the tea of Kenya is displayed. Mr. Speaker, one of the mistakes that we can do is not to capitalize on the economies of scale. Mr. Speaker, separating the KTDA or any other institution into two to satisfy the interests of a region will not change the quality. We stand to lose on the Western because their tea is not of high quality. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, even in areas where there's very high tea quality, still there are some areas within that same area, for example, in Molanga, in Kegumo, where they have the largest three quality tea regions. But I also, even in Kigumo, there are areas with low quality tea. What they take advantage is the breeding concept, and that's what the auction is all about. Western generously benefits from these areas where the high quality is. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to be very sensitive. We cannot trivialize our thinking to the level that we are saying one region is being disenfranchised by the other. What we need to be thinking about right now is how to continue improving the quality of tea. That's key. That's key. And we need to enhance research so that we start now printing tea. Even those they're so defined as west of the Rift Valley, there are areas that can plant very high quality tea. And I think that will solve, going forward, some of the problems that we have. Institutional reorganization and institutional politics should not be the thing that is going to jeopardize the benefit that goes to the farmers. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very serious discussion. It is a very serious economy of tea because of earning foreign exchange. It is a very serious because of it offers employment. It's a very serious industry because of enhancing manufacturing and value addition. So we need to be sensitive when we trivialize a concept like the tea business. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
MP for Igembe South.
Thank you, Speaker. Also, let me put my voice on this committee report on the findings on the pricing of the tea. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, the committee has given the recommendation on the findings and what makes the tea from West earn less than those teas from East. Mr. Speaker, the tea quality matters a lot. I remember in the last parliament, when I was in the Committee of Agriculture, we went to West Side to do the same findings. And Mr. Speaker, we talked about the grading, because when harvesting tea, there is that quality you are supposed to harvest, and the quality starts from the farm all the way to factory. If you miss that grading from the farm, even in the factory, you will not get a good grade. So this is one of the effects which affect the prices of the tea. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the directors whom the farmers elect, the directors are supposed to be informed on the current affairs, how the prices are going, how the auction is being done at Mombasa, so that they can be interim with whatever is going from auction and what they are responding to the farmers. Then number 3, Mr. Speaker, the input, the quantity of the harvested tea, which is being supplied to the factory. If the quantity is less or the quantity is small, the factors of production will go high. And when the factors of production go high, the price the farmer will get from a kg of tea will be low. So, Mr. Speaker, as the committee has recommended, those recommendations should be followed to the latter so that the farmers can get commendable prices. Because they are complaining, because tea is one of the key foreign earners in this country. And the farmers are supposed to be benefiting from this tea which they harvest, Mr. Speaker. The KTDA also must be transparent to the farmers. When the prices are higher, the farmers are supposed to know that the prices of tea are high. If they are low, the same, they are supposed to indicate to the farmers how the prices are. I am glad, Mr. Speaker, that in my constituency I have 2 factories. That is Kiegoi Tea Factory and the Igembe Tea Factory. And the payment there is somehow good because of the quality. But the government also should work hard to expand the market so that farmers can earn more. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Fair enough. I now call upon the mover to reply. Where is the honorable? Yeah, Mary, are you doing it on his behalf? Where is Mutunga Daktari?
I'm here.
Oh yes, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank all the members of this House who have contributed to this motion. Honorable Speaker, the pricing differentials was a huge issue in this House just before we went for the last recess, for the December recess. And that is what led to expansion of the committee in cooperation of some of the members who are extremely vocal about the issues of pricing, and therefore we formed a larger committee to go and look into these issues. Honorable Speaker, the matters of tea needs to be discussed as matters of the heart. Tea is produced all over this country in quite a number of counties. It is amazing that we have a dichotomy that KTDA factories to the west of the Rift Valley get less pay as compared to the KTDA factories to the east of the Rift Valley. But Honorable Speaker, that doesn't mean that there are no factories in the west of the Rift Valley that are getting better prices, because they are there. Honorable Speaker, we agreed with the members who were extremely vocal about the pricing issue and bring about all sorts of explanations that we change direction. Those of us who come from the east of the Rift Valley to go to the west, and those who come from the west of the Rift Valley to go to the east. When our colleagues from the west of the Rift Valley went to the east, it took them 1.5 days of exposure, and they were satisfied. That is because they realized the problem is not really with the KTDA as an institution. The problem is not with the farmers, as it were. The problem is a compounded issue based on disregarding the quality. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, I understand to say, doing away with the KTDA, and I'm not a member of KTDA, I produce some tea, Honorable Speaker, but I cannot stand here to defend KTDA. But let me tell you something. Honorable Speaker, before I became a member of Parliament, on 3 occasions, global conferences, KTDA model was given as an exemplary model, one that has really performed wonders in the world. And many tea growing countries were guided to come to Kenya and stand in from the KTDA, which means KTDA does the right thing. But if a few factories decide not to do the right thing, if they decide to take choices, if they decide to advantage their farmers through very cheap prices, and if they decide to have alternatives, then Honorable Speaker cannot blame the institution. Because more than half of the factories under KTDA are doing extremely well. The other half is not doing well because of compounded issues which we laid out yesterday. And I'm happy because members can be able to see this. But for those who think KTDA is a problem, I would urge them to dig deeper, try to understand the issues, and accept the fact that if people are not delivering quality, they should be prevailed upon to deliver quality. Honorable Speaker, a few issues came out yesterday, and I would like to highlight only 2 of them. One of them is picking any variety that comes by because it is high producing, without caring on the other qualities that are that at the end of the day add up to the measure of quality. Have in mind varieties that are high yielding, varieties that do very well in most of the agroecologists, but then they have different fermentation requirements as most of the other varieties. When you make such tea, then you produce processed tea or made tea of poor quality, because part of it will not be fully fermented. On the other hand, Honorable Speaker, tea that we sell to the rest of the world is not necessarily used to make other, it's not a raw material. It is a product that is ready for consumption. If it is a product that is ready for consumption, we cannot force people to take what they think is not of good quality. So people will prefer tea from certain factories, and indeed, Honorable Speaker, some factories have sold their tea for 2028. They have sold their tea in advance. They have got it into the futures market. Already it is booked. You are told what you will produce in 2028 you shall buy. We pay part of it. Others have got their tea lying in Mombasa because they have decided to be indisciplined. Honorable Speaker, I will highlight the last point. And this is about discipline in terms of the management of the factories themselves, which comes in 3 ways. Number one, the composition of the board members of the factory. The committees at the factory level. It is important to have people who have knowledge. It is important to have people who have interest. It is important to have people who have experience in the management of a factory, and especially the tea factory. Because it has to do with management of the processor itself and management of the farmers and farmers' dues. The collection, the entire continuum of collection and processing and marketing. So if you put people who have never gone to who are not sufficiently educated to be in charge of the factory, and I have nothing against anyone on a speaker. And in this country, sometimes we stand and say that anybody can do anything. It is wrong. If somebody doesn't know, they don't know. If they have no experience, they cannot inform, they cannot guide, they cannot advise. So you will find this happening a lot in the west of the Rift Valley. We have another issue on our speaker. In their appointment or selection or rigging in, or whatever method they use to put the members of the factory, the board members or the directors in, they hinge a lot on the populace. Who is populace? Who is most populous around? Not necessarily who is producing the best tea. When you go to the east of the Rift Valley, they will ask, what experience does he have? What is the size of his farm? Has his tea ever been rejected? But on this other side, they will pick anybody because you have such a backing. We should not politicize tea. Tea as a commodity needs to come out as clean, good quality, because people will pay for what they consider to be good enough. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the added costs on the same. Those factory the directors designed to be, to have conflict of interest. Instead of allowing the factory to run under the guidance of the management body, which is now the KTDA, they bring in influences. You have to get my vehicles. We store vehicles of the factory and then hire somebody's vehicles to collect tea. First of all, you are holding the vehicles of the factory. Then you get other vehicles. It's a double investment on our speaker. It's double input. On the other hand, some of them want their wood to be bought. Others want, so much to be done for them instead of allowing the factories to run appropriately. So, our speaker, it is a bit surprising that the members who are very vocal are not in this house to debate this report today. And I think some of these issues can be very emotive until the house was charged to a point of even imagining that the committee is not committed to its work. The committee members do not just do their work. The committee members are very well informed in matters tea. And therefore, they have produced this report. And with those very few remarks, Honourable Speaker, I wish to reply. Thank you very much.
Yep. Nobody else? Honorable members, I now put the question. That this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock and its inquiry into the pricing of tea in Kenya laid on the table of the House on Thursday, the 4th of December, the year 2025. Will as many after appearance say aye? Aye. Will as many of contrary appearance say aye? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. 11th report of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022. Resumption of debate.
Who was on the floor? Anybody interested in that, in contributing on that? Nobody? Okay, under the circumstances, I'll ask the mover to reply. The chair is not in. You are the chair, I thought so. And I'm directing that you reply to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank members who contributed to this motion yesterday. Their comments and suggestions will go a long way in enriching future reports of this committee. Mr. Speaker, NGCDF is the only visible fund that has impacted positively to the lives of communities all over the country. It is a fund whose projects are visible in every village in Kenya, contrary to other funds, like devolved funds of county governments. It is a fund that must be protected at all times in the interest of all Kenyans and the communities in the villages and schools. Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Thank you.
Okay, honorable members, and this council, I'll now put the question. Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the 11th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for West Mugirango, Bobasi, Awendo, North Imenti, Kirinyaga Central, South Mugirango, Ugenya, Kieni, Kipipiri, Budalangi, and Kiharu constituencies for the financial years 2013, 2014 to 2021-22, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, the 4th of December, the year 2025. Will as many have to appear and say aye? Aye. Will as many have contrary appear and say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 13, motion. Report on the public petition number 21 of 2025 regarding access to health care by cancer patients in the country.
Where is the chairman of the committee? Oh, the vice chair is here.
Yes, I'm here.
The honorable member for Chuka Igambo Ngombe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my chairman is not here as he lost his father. And
proceed. You are equally qualified and able.
It's good I inform members that we're having a fundraiser at All Saints Cathedral to assist him today in the evening at 6. Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
My condolences and sympathies too.
Thank you, Speaker.
Chair. Okay.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopt the report of the Departmental Committee on Health, report on public petition number 21 of 2025 on access to health care by cancer patients in Kenya, read on the table of the House on Wednesday, 8 April 2026. Honorable Speaker, public petition 21 of 2025 was submitted by the Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations, that is KENCO, representing over 70 civil society groups and thousands of cancer patients, and was tabled in the National Assembly on 7th October of 2026. The petition was referred to the Departmental Committee on Health for consideration. Honorable Speaker, cancer remains one of the Kenya's most significant public health challenges. The country records approximately 44,000 new diagnoses and over 29 cancer-related deaths annually. Repeat, 29,000 cancer-related deaths annually. Breast and cervical cancers disproportionately affect women, while prostate cancer is the leading diagnosis among men. Against this burden, equitable access to affordable and comprehensive cancer care is a matter of public importance. Honorable Speaker, the petitioner writes systemic failures experienced under the implementation of Social Health Authority SHA and seeks urgent reforms in cancer care financing. It raises various challenges that have been encountered by cancer patients under SHA, from reduction and inadequacy of cancer benefit package, bureaucratic delays, and system failures, poor communication and lack of transparency, services suspension due to pending bills and emotional and mental strain. Honorable Speaker, The petition prayed that the National Assembly, through the Departmental Committee on Health 1, ensures enhancement of oncology benefits, which were cut from 600,000 Kenya shillings per individual at the NHIF to 400,000 Kenya shillings per household at the SHA. 2, commissions an independent audit of SHA funds, reviews benefit structures, creating reforms for fairness and sustainability in cancer care financing, and ensuring adequate allocation of funds to the primary health care fund and emergency chronic and critical illness fund. Number 3, make any other order or direction that it deems fit in addressing the plight. Honorable Speaker, in consideration of the petition, the committee engaged petitioners and the Cabinet Secretary of Health. Honorable Speaker, the transition from NHIF to SHA was undertaken to advance universal health coverage. However, evidence presented before the committee identified unintended consequences of cancer patients arising from the restructuring of oncology benefits. Under NHIF, patients received 550,000. No, at the NHIF, patients received an individual oncology benefit of 600,000 per year, while at the SHA, this has been reorganized into a household-based benefit of 550, comprising of 400 at the Social Authority, SHIF, and 150 at the Emergency and Critical Illnesses Fund. For household, in which more than one member requires treatment, this shift from individual to household coverage significantly reduces the financial protection previously available. Honorable Speaker, following the consideration of all information submitted, the committee makes recommendations directed at the Ministry of Health, the Social Authority, and the National Treasury. Honorable Speaker, the recommendations include listing the individual oncology benefits to a minimum of 800,000 per beneficiary per year, strengthening digital and administrative system for claims approval, increasing budgetary allocation to both primary and ECCIF fund, improving patient and provider awareness of available benefits, and commissioning an independent holistic audit of SHA disbursement since inception. Honorable Speaker, in addition, the committee calls on the Ministry of Health and SHA to undertake widespread civic education on cancer care benefits and report back within 4 months. SHA was directed to reimburse health facilities within 90 days in line with the existing regulations, and to create a dedicated fast-track digital platform for cancer pre-authorizations in partnership with Digital Health Authority. Honorable Speaker, in the light of the recommendations by the Departmental Committee on Health on its report on public petition number 21 of 2026 on access to health care by cancer patients in Kenya, I beg to move and urge the House to adopt this report. Honorable Speaker. And I now request, I will request Honorable Ridikiri to second the motion. Member for Buri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Cancer is a very serious disease in this country. Cancer has made some families poor. Cancer has made people, even families, to separate. Cancer has really drained even the foreign exchange, because many people are trekking out of the country to go and seek medical treatment out there. Cancer has left some areas without the effective human resource. For example, my constituency, Buri, there are some areas that have really been affected for whatever reason, but the government is trying to do whatever it can so that they can have a study to reveal the cause of this disease in that region. So when the committee brings this report, it is in good faith. It is because this is a disaster, it's an epidemic, which need to be really eradicated going forward. Mr. Speaker, the committee is very passionate on this issue because we'll have to have people treated for the reasons that I've quoted. So, Mr. Speaker, this petition has come in early because every Kenyan under right to quality treatment, specifically on cancer. Mr. Speaker, this petition comes and states that every area, irrespective, need to have centers of treatment, that we need to enhance research to know the root cause of cancer. We need to avail more trained personnel specializing on this disease. We need to have proper medical medicine available. So, Mr. Speaker, this petition is very important because going forward, this country requires high standards of treatment on the disease. I therefore second the report.
Honorable members, I now propose a question. This House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Health on its consideration of public petition number 21 of 2025 regarding access to healthcare by cancer patients in the country, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, the 8th of April, the year 2026. The MP for Funyula. Okay. I was under the impression that the MP for Wajir North, the Honorable Sanei, who has so many patients from his region, the northeastern province of Kenya, with cancer. Proceed, Honorable Sanei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Cancer globally is a prevalent disease that has reduced many patients to be terminally ill, trying to put so much burden on households. When one can be ill for years and the costs are so prohibitive, you can at least decipher what the consequences economically shall be on households, more so on in the third world countries. Mr. Speaker, in northern Kenya, we have been grappling with cases of toxic materials being deposited or waste being put in parts of northern Kenya, Wajir, Marsabit, and other counties. And as a result, there has been a spike in the prevalence of cancer in northern frontier districts. Mr. Speaker, cancer remains to be one of the serious killers in this country, causing around 7% of the deaths in Kenya. Cancer, the most common cancers have been esophageal cancer, prostate, cervical, and colorectal. These are the most common cancer cases killing patients or citizens in this country. The observation from the report is such that there has been a transitional issue from the defunct NHIF to SHA. That transition has interrupted access to a high percentage of patients, cancer patients. And it was also observed that SHIF gave smaller amounts compared to the defunct NHIF, which offered a special category for cancer. That in itself bespeaks that we should improve on our SHA so that we give this the due concern it deserves, Mr. Speaker. There are issues of also bureaucracy. Trying to access treatment by cancer patients has been our concern, the most bottleneck being bureaucracy. Even in terms of registering, the registration process has been a problem, an impediment, making the consequences being patients have been missing chemotherapy and radiotherapy. And once you miss those critical treatments, the disease relapses, and that exacerbates the stages of the cancer occurrence in the body. So there was a need to at least remove those bureaucracy, registration issues, so that cancer cases can easily access without the undue bureaucracy and the registration requirement that they were facing.
Honorable Abdisirat Khalif, I thought you wanted to contribute to this motion. I can see you walking out of the House. Can you come back to the House and contribute to the motion as you had requested from the chair? Proceed, Sane.
Further, Mr. Speaker, before SHA was operationalized, there were outstanding bills faced by facilities from the previous NHIF. Those that were affected could not treat cancer patients in the country. Those outstanding bills have interfered cancer treatment across the country, making the prevalence and the treatment of patients worse. There is also one other big problem in the country. Despite having the insurance, despite being covered by SHA, there were lack of drugs in our public facilities. So there was an out-of-pocket. People had to buy drugs from chemists. I'm sorry, I was interrupted. If you will give me more time, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, Honorable
So
Sane.
people had to go to chemists to buy.
An additional 1 minute. Go.
Thank you. They had to buy drugs while they had a cover. That is a mockery of SHA. You can't be insured, and then you are told there are no drugs, then you buy the same drugs from your pocket. That means the insurance package will be of no relevance, and cancer treatment shall be expensive, Mr. Speaker. With those observations, there is a need to increase oncology package under SHA, comparatively to its predecessor, NHIF. There is a need to consolidate chief with the ECCIF so that we can have an enhanced treatment. There is need to devolve cancer treatment in all the counties of this country. If we are to at least forestall or the increase of the prevalence of cancer, we need to at least cascade treatment of cancer cases to the 47 counties of this country so that we don't have to refer terminally ill people to Nairobi Kenyatta National Hospital, which is bearing the burden of all referrals. With those few contributions, I support the report to 1 of 2025.
The Honorable Abdisirat Khalif. You share a name with a giant who was in the Kenya Parliament from 1969 to the 70s.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The late Abdisirat Khalif.
Okay.
An amazing
Well
character.
noted,
Proceed.
well noted, Mr. Speaker. Cancer is a serious disease that's causing nightmares in this country. Unless it is taken as serious as it is, this disease can really take us backwards. There are areas in this country that's having serious challenges with this disease, especially the northern Kenya. There's some school of thoughts that were one time saying that there were hazardous materials that were deposited by foreign countries in those areas. Maybe that is the cause of, the spread of the diseases in that region. However, as a country, we need first of all to see to it that we are aware of what we are dealing with, especially by having, research institutions that can give us the types of these diseases. We need, public awareness. There are some, lifestyles that can be changed in order to curb these diseases. We also have, funding. The country must, fund these disease treatment, cancer treatment, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of training, in terms of, public awareness, so that we can reduce, the effects of these diseases. Mr. Speaker, we need, as a country, to, deal with situations before they really spread to a level that cannot be handled. In this country, we have, we always deal with emergency situations, disease controls, all that is not, harnessed and discussed and prepared for them, so that we tackle these problems before they really cause a negative effect in terms of economic development, in terms of lives, in terms of everything else. So I therefore, Mr. Speaker, agree with the motion to have these diseases contained, give preference, to areas where it is causing havoc, especially in the northern Kenya, the counties of Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Moyale, Marsabit, Isiolo, Turkana. Those areas are already having challenges in terms of, development, in terms of healthcare systems. So we need to assign more resources, more, funding to those areas so that we curb this disease. Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
You haven't disappointed those who knew your namesake. Thank you. Proceed, Honorable MP for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Committee of Health for having listened to this petition, prosecuted this petition, and brought the report to this floor. Many times, Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, petitions go and lie there for many, many years or many months. By the time they are being presented, they have already been overtaken by events. Honorable Speaker, the petitioner, that is the Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations, clearly presents a very compelling and a heart-rendering case in this petition. And I'm sure many of us who are seated here, many Kenyans watching us now listening, have at one time or another either been cancer patients, know of somebody who has been a cancer patient, and actually lost and buried somebody they knew who died of cancer. I'm one of them, and by virtue of my position as an MP of a rural constituency, many times I carry the emotional burden with me whenever I visit patients who have got cancer, whenever I attend burials for those who have lost their lives because of cancer, and many cases where we are invited to contribute funds to treat cancer patients. Honorable Speaker, it's very compelling statistics. And many cases, Honorable Speaker, we really believed. First of all, cancer is very expensive. And I want to go to paragraph 18 of the report, which says the direct cost of comprehensive treatment for this patient easily exceeds Kenya shillings 3.8 million. This demonstrates beyond any doubt that the current cancer cover of Kenya shilling 550,000 per year is grossly insufficient to provide equitable access to care. Reducing the oncology package is not just a technical policy change, it's a life and death decision for thousands of Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, again, in the KENCO, the petitioner's report, the presentation, they also provides very chilling data or statistics that Kenyans must be aware before we start. And this paragraph 17, a recent survey of 118 cancer patients and caregivers found that 60% had exhausted their share cover before the end of the year, with 35.8 exhausting their benefit in less than 3 months, and another 34.5 within 3 to 6 months. Honorable Speaker, we were sold a story, a very good story, by very good storytellers, that SHA was a pinnacle to all medical problems in this country. We were told that with the free primary health care, we were told that emergency chronic and clinical illness fund will save all the people in Kenya, will cover all the people in Kenya. This petition has just unmasked the package of lies and has told us the current package that we have at the moment is really a direct ticket to death in the event you are diagnosed with the cancer. Honorable Speaker, we have been again told that in the old package of NHIF, it came a combined package. If an individual exhausted his, he could use the spouse package. The one we have here is segregated, is dichotomous, so that you only use, once you exhaust yours, you have now to go for other aspects. Speaker, I would just one more second, 1 minute.
Give
Just-
you one minute, 1 more minute.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, as we stand here today, and Kenyans must be very clear and aware that we have two issues here, Honorable Speaker, that we need to address as Kenyans. And this goes to the executive, this goes to the Committee on Health, and this goes to the President, who has gone all over the world, has gone over the Kenya, selling the good story of SHA, forgetting to tell, cautioning Kenya the bad stick of it. One, the cover for cancer is not adequate to cover you for cancer. If you are diagnosed with cancer, look for an alternative source of funds to ensure that you see through your sessions up to the end. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the issue of hospitals declining to treat patients on SHA because of delayed payment is also another death sentence to the Kenyans. But nevertheless, we support the report and the recommendations. We just hope the ministry will pick it up and implement the recommendations. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mheshimiwa Kombe wa Magarini. Kwa Kiswahili kansa inaitwa saratani. Endelea.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me time to contribute to this debate on the report. Mr. Speaker, on the onset, I wish to congratulate the President for having thought of providing universal health care to all Kenyans. It is unfortunate that those who are managing the fund at times do not burn the midnight oil to make sure that they do pay at the required time. Mr. Speaker, had it not been for SHA, I would probably have lost my brother. He fell sick at the time when I was out of the job. I was out of parliament, struggling with the petition and the by-election campaigns. Honorable Speaker, he was diagnosed and treatment was initiated. SHA paid off all the bill. I had only to pay for the bed because he had been admitted in a private hospital. So the cry here, Mr. Speaker, should be for the increment to the cancer patients, the increment for the medical cover so that they are treated well and paid for in good time. Mr. Speaker, let us call a spade a spade. And let us appreciate, no matter how small something we get, we should appreciate it. In this case, I am saying SHA has its own shortcomings, but however, we have to appreciate the move and we make a step further so that we make sure we contribute so that even those who are jobless can still benefit from SHA for so long as they have registered to SHA. Mr. Speaker, cancer, if I may speak now on cancer. Cancer is an accumulation of dead cells in the body. Unfortunately, these dead cells accumulate at a given point in the body. If the cells happen to settle at the throat, then that is when we have throat cancer. When it happens to settle elsewhere, then we say it is cancer, maybe of the brain, if they have settled on the brain. So we have a brain tumor. If they settle at the prostate, it's when we say so-and-so is suffering from prostate cancer and cervical cancer and the rest. Mr. Speaker, we should take the opportunity and to encourage our people to visit the hospitals for testing. And for those members, for those of us who are in Parliament here, I would urge you to make a point of attending to the gym and get those reflexology services. The reflexology services actually attend to the lymph glands, and the lymph glands are responsible for dispersing any dead cells accumulating in a particular area. By so doing, actually, thank you.
Anybody else who wants to contribute? Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this very, very important report. Report on public petition number 021 of 2025 regarding access to health care by cancer patients in the country. Honorable Speaker, I also want to thank the committee and the chair as we condole with him on the passing on of his dad. Honorable Speaker, cancer is something that we should all be concerned with as a country and as leaders. Honorable Speaker, I come from Marsabit, where we have big number of cancer patients. And when cancer hits a family, in fact, it is not only the patients who suffers, but even the caregivers. Honorable Speaker, we know very well that leading cancer, as recorded or reported, cervical cancer, many of our women suffer from that. Breast cancer, again, hits our women. Prostate cancer, colorectal cancer, and many other cancers these days. And many families have suffered as a result of this. Honorable Speaker, we also know very well that cancer is a top 3 killer in Kenya, with almost 47,000 new cases every year. That is why I said we should all be concerned at the rate at which cancer is spreading. Again, we know very well that about 32,000 Kenyans die annually as a result of cancer. This is a huge number. And a caring government should be concerned of this, because we know very well, again, when cancer hits, as I said, the families relatives, and friends go through financial distress. Most of the time, especially in asal areas where we have large number of patients, they sell the few animals they have. Sometimes they even sell their small plots. Sometimes they sell all that they have. And the only thing that helps them is the fundraising that people do for them. And unfortunately, many are the times that Kenyans travel to India. Honorable Speaker, I have visited several families in my own county. Several families, friends, relatives, and many have also visited us because my own mom died as a result of cancer. And that is why I feel the pain, because I know what that really means. Honorable Speaker, the report says that it is regarding the access to health care by cancer patients. Access. Imagine of somebody who is in northern or in northeastern, where in all our hospitals we don't have the equipment, and they travel 300 kilometers even to get the first aid. And that is why I support this report and say, let us make it accessible. Let us make it easier for cancer patients to access the drugs, to access health care, and to have it easier. Because when it is diagnosed early enough, patients can even be treated fully and they can survive. But with late diagnosis, which is reported all over Kenya, then patients are likely to die as a result of this. Honorable Speaker, we should give this all the attention it deserves. And also pray that all our hospitals in every part of this country should be well equipped. Thank you. Should be well equipped with qualified doctors so that we will be able to give enough care to our people and give them the medication that they need. Besides that, we need also to propose a counseling program for the caretakers. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
For your county, probably you need more than one cancer center because you come from, what is the size of your county? 68,000 square kilometers, am I right? 68,000.
68,000.
That is Rwanda, Burundi,
Yes.
and God knows how many other countries put together.
Yes.
So you need more than one cancer center.
We need more than one, and it is the largest.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Honorable Speaker.
Mwirigi? Give the mic to Honorable Mwirigi, MP for Igembe South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also, I want to put my voice on this report of the Health Committee concerning the cancer. In Igembe South constituency, Mr. Speaker, that is the constituency which is leading with the cancer cases in the Republic of Kenya. And I have observed many of my constituents suffer, Mr. Speaker, because of this delay payment of the services, Mr. Speaker. Some of the services are being underpaid, even though the government has added fund to 800,000 to cater for the service of the cancer cases. There is need to earn even more money to these patients, Mr. Speaker, because these patients, they come from very poor families, whereby one to raise money takes ages. And whenever they conduct this fundraising, they do not get enough money to cater for them or to cater for the hospital bills, Mr. Speaker. So As the committee has found, it is good for the government to increase the funding so that the patients are treated well. The facilities are able to treat the patient, because after one has claimed for the insurance, or after the facility has claimed for insurance for reimbursement, the government is taking quite long to reimburse the facility. Then when the patient go there, that patient experiences the problem or the delay of treatment. So it is good for the ministry to look out on this and make that rectification. In Meru, Mr. Speaker, the government has done a good work. There is a construction of the cancer center which is ongoing there, but it has delayed. So from the Ministry of Health, it is good for this ministry to make it faster to complete the construction of this cancer center, so that the people from that region can get the service in here. Because most of the patients are suffering. Why? Because of the facilities where they are supposed to be treated are located in the urban areas, and to travel to those long distances, those patients does not have that money to, or does not afford to travel to those hospitals, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, it is good for the government, even though we are saying that SHA is good, it is good also we identify cancer as a national disaster and treat it differently from the way we treat other diseases, Mr. Speaker, and even make it free for these patients, Mr. Speaker. With that, I support this report.
Are you from Amira growing region?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. But
do you notice there is
Mr. Speaker, we
there's a correlation between Mira and cancer, and that goes for Meru and also goes for Northeastern province.
We end, Mr. Speaker.
Anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah, but Mr. Speaker, maybe I heard something small. We heard some people from the Ministry of Health from Nairobi in Meru, and they went to one of my primary school, Konda Mwamba Primary School, which has asbestos, and they saying that is one of the source contributor of this disease. Also, the Ministry of Education should move fast and make sure that those asbestos has been removed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Look into the role of Mira also. You would be doing your people a lot of justice. Yes, Madam. First, let Mulingi say whatever he has to say, because you came after him, and then you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this report and thank the committee and the chair for tabling this report. Honorable Speaker, cancer has turned out to be one of the worst diseases in the country. It is even worse than corona.
Can I just interrupt you?
Yes, sir.
Can I please take a seat? I wish to recognize the presence of students from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. And they're in the Langata constituency. You all know where the Catholic University is. You are a resident there. Are you a Catholic? Who is a Catholic here? Okay, let's give the first shot to the Catholic to welcome the students from the Catholic University. Not that you have a monopoly, it's just and then the Honorable Ndikiro, who is a neighbor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Encouragement to the young men and women who are up here.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to welcome students of Catholic University of East Africa to the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. This is the house under the Constitution of Kenya that makes all the laws, passes budgets, oversees the national executive. In the architecture of the legislative arm in this country, the National Assembly is more or less like the upper house because it's the holder of the purse. The Senate represents county governments, yet the National Assembly represents the people of Kenya, the entire country of Kenya. You are welcome to listen, to watch debate. You are welcome to scrutinize how we debate and work hard. Most of you come and sit here so that you can represent the people of Kenya and make laws that give hope and give hope to the people of Kenya and improve the welfare of the people of Kenya. Welcome. God is good all the time.
Wherever you have two chambers, you have a Senate and you have National Assembly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to welcome our neighbors, the student from the prestigious Catholic University. From the onset, even if it bears the name Catholic, all Kenyans are admitted in that institution. I want to thank this university for producing some of the best skilled graduates and people of Kenya, and tell them that we are not short of it yet. We need more skilled. I want to congratulate this university for maintaining very high standard of discipline. Mr. Speaker, since this university commenced, we have never had institutions like we have experienced in other universities. And I believe that for them coming here today to see what normally happens in Parliament is another step forward so that they can become better citizens of this nation. I want to thank them. I want to thank the management of the institution for finding it good that they bring you here so that you can see where the laws of this country are made. Some of you, in your future, we wish you that you can join the Kenyan Parliament and become members of Parliament, either the Senate or National Assembly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Except the chair doesn't quite agree with the MP for Funyula that this is an upper house. Wherever there are two houses, I think the rules are different. But anyway, if you want to say that this is the house that carries the biggest burden, it is the house that carries the biggest burden. No. Continue the MP Mulyungi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was saying that cancer is one of the worst diseases in the country. It has become worse, more than even the corona we knew and HIV/AIDS. It's a painful killing disease, and it's an expensive disease to treat. Many poor Kenyans and even middle-income Kenyans cannot afford treatment for this disease. Kenyans have been subjected to frequent fundraisers to support cancer patients. Even SHA has not fully covered cancer patients, and therefore patients are forced to go back to their pockets and their relatives to source for more money to pay for their care. It's a disease that is wiping Kenyans day in, day out. Mr. Speaker, it's a disease that should be, in my view, declared a national disaster. Yeah, because it's all over. Even in Marsabit, you have heard. Marsabit, where does cancer come from? Yeah. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is a disease that the government should support fully and make sure that SHA covers cancer fully without subjecting patients to additional health care cost. In short, cancer treatment should be free in Kenya. And I therefore, Mr. Speaker, want to encourage the committee and the government agencies to make sure that this report is adopted and acted upon in Kenya. Further, Mr. Speaker, as we discuss health care and the killer disease, back in my constituency, where I'm your neighbor, elephants have invaded my constituency. I don't know what KWS is doing. They have eaten all the food all the crops are gone. And you know, we depend on crops, food from the farms, not camels or elephants. I'm therefore from this floor of the House asking KWS to make sure that all those elephants are taken back to their home. They don't belong in Mwingi Central. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, subject to Standing Order number 96, and I request that the debate be now adjourned. Thank you.
Fair enough. The chair will, without wasting any time, put the question that debate on this matter be adjourned. Yes. Honorable members, I now put the question that debate on this matter be adjourned to a later date. Will as many of the appearance say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary appearance say no? Nay? Aye. The ayes have it. Next order.
Report on inspection visit to the East African Science and Technology Commission and the East African Health Research Commission.
Yes. Where is the chairperson? The chairperson of this committee is not in the house today. I direct that this matter be put on the order paper at a convenient time when the chairperson is around. Next order.
Order number 15, motion. Report of Kenya delegation to the 151st Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and related meetings.
Where is the leader of the delegation to the IPU? This is equally a very important matter. I direct that this matter be put on the order paper at an appropriate date in the future when the leader of the delegation is in the House to move the motion. Next order.
Order number 16, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2026, second reading.
Where is the chairman of the Finance Committee? Kimani. He is not in the House, in the chambers. I equally direct that this matter also be placed on the order paper at an appropriate date in the future. And the Honorable Deputy Whip, Order Honorable Naomi Bako. Naomi, you should listen to the chair. You are the Deputy Whip of the government. You must make sure that you are are they generals? Committee chairs from your side are in the House to move these motions and bills. And I direct that this matter also be placed on the order paper and better inform Mr. Kimani that he had better be there on that particular day. Next order.
Order number 17, the Kenya Judiciary Academy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 42 of 2025, second reading.
The leader of majority in the House, Honorable Ichunga, could you also do the same with Honorable Ichunga? To make sure that he is in the House to move a very, very important bill like this one. I direct that this matter be placed on the order paper at an appropriate date in the future when the Honorable Ichungwa is in the House. Next order.
Order number 18, motion. Second report on the status of reports on petitions and resolutions.
The chairperson of Committee on Implementation. Naomi, what happened to your, is it generals or majors What happens to the leaders of your... There must be an important development.
Honorable Speaker, as you know, we have so many things happening at the same time.
In the country?
There are people, yes, in the country and
Fair
even
enough.
around Parliament,
Fair
and that is why many members are out of the chamber. Thank you.
Fair enough. I direct that this matter also be placed on the order paper and at an appropriate date in the future when the MP or rather the chairperson of the Committee on Implementation is on that in the chambers. And the next order.
Order number 19, motion, 12th report on the audited accounts of the national government constituencies in specified counties for the financial years 2013-2014 to 2022-2023.
At least this time you have the MP for Muliungi. Proceed and move your motion. Give him the mic, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the 12th report of Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its examination of the audited financial statements for the National Government Development Fund for constituencies in Gishu, Nandi, Baringo, and Bomet constituencies for the financial years 2013-2014 to 2022/2023, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 4th December 2025.
Just so that we are clear on certain words. There could be no difference between consideration and examination, but there could also be a difference between the two. The motion reads consideration, not examination. So could you read it again? Verbatim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm well guided. This House adopts the 12th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited financial statements for the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituencies in Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Baringo, and Bomet counties for the financial years 2013-14 to 2022-23, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 4th December 2025. Honorable Speaker, this 12th report covers the examination now of the reports of the Auditor General for the constituencies in the counties of Uasin Gishu.
It's just that the practice is that when you are moving a motion or a bill, you read it word for word, as it is printed on the order paper.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Baringo, and Bomet. In total, the committee examines the report for the periods back to the backdated to 2013-14 financial years up to 2022-23 financial years, clearing a significant backlog to ensure our oversight is up to date. During this examination, the committee held sittings with fund account managers and the CEO of the NGCDF board. We scrutinized issues regarding the lawfulness and effectiveness of the use of public resources in all the constituencies highlighted in those counties. Honorable Speaker, allow me to highlight some of the key observations and findings made by the committee. Budgetary control and underfunding. We noted that money from the Treasury came late to the constituencies and therefore causing delay in implementation of the projects. The committee recommended that Treasury should release funds on time. Unsupported project management committee imbalances. We also noted that whenever committees disburse funds to project management committees, they don't follow to know what balance has been left out. And therefore, we made a strict recommendation that the bank balances should be returned. Any money in the accounts should be returned to the main account for purposes of use by the constituencies. Mr. Speaker, we also noted that documentation of expenditures was not very adequate, and this is related to training of fund managers, which we indicated that fund managers should be regularly trained on documentation of their expenditures. Also, Honorable Speaker, we noted that statutory compliance were not followed. Some fund managers were not deducting statutory deductions and remitting to KRA, the tax collector, and we made it compulsory that fund managers must comply with the law. Honorable Speaker, based on these findings, the committee has made several other recommendations which ought to be followed by the fund managers in preparing accounts and reporting to Parliament for examinations, which are detailed in our report. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommendations are aimed at strengthening the internal controls of the constituencies and ensuring that backlog of audit queries is cleared and does not recur in the future. Once we clear an audit query for a constituency, it should not recur because now the fund manager is conversant with the problems of bookkeeping records. Honorable Speaker, we remain committed to ensuring every shilling allocated to the devolved funds benefits the intended mwananchi, and I wish to thank my committee members, one of them who is sitting next to me, my neighbor, for their support in my committee and ensuring that these reports are written, and also the clerk of the National Assembly and the Speaker for supporting us. Therefore, with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Hussein Bare to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hussein Bare.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second, and I wish to add some few comments on the same. Honorable Speaker, I wish to congratulate and give commendations to my chair, Honorable Gideon Mulungi, and his committee who have been going through these reports, which was spanning from 2013 to date. And I must commend them for the diligent approach they have taken to this, and they have gone very far in going through a number of CDF projects or CDF or different constituencies. And I want to recommend or commend them actually to continue with the same spirit. Having said that, I want to say that CDF is one of the most important developmental funds which are very well felt in the entire country. And I should say the percentage of money that is allocated to CDF should probably be considered to be increased, because as compared to the counties that get quite a number of, quite a large chunk of money from the exchequer, the little that goes to CDF is very well felt. If you go around the country, you see the labeling that is everywhere in security infrastructure, schools, and the number of schools the number of students who are being held in schools, the number of bursaries which are paid. It means this is a very important fund, and I think an increase will have gone very far to help Kenyan societies or Kenyan youth. I know there are quite a number of people, both activists and people who don't understand how this fund is very important, who are calling for the disbandment, and I know it's a court case which is going on, but I must say, with these funds facing challenges, we will have a number of people who are being supported now in school, staying out of school, and crime will increase in this country. So I think only increase in upwards will be the thing to consider, but not any other approach to this. With those few remarks, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Honorable members, I now propose a question that this House adopts the 12th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituencies in Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Baringo, and Bomet counties for the financial years 2013 to 2014, 2022 to 2023, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, the 4th of December, the year 2025. There being no interest, I will have to put the question. You have an interest? Yes, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the work of this committee is quite enormous, but I have a problem because we have the national auditing bodies that go to do audit in the various constituencies. And some of the findings that come from those reports are not very, very good. I'll give you an example. When the funds are read, and that's what I expect in this report, their report, to reveal, when the funds are read, it causes lateness in implementation of projects. And that's something that this report should bring out, or the committee.
When the funds are disbursed late, yeah?
When the funds are disbursed late, it causes a chain effect on the implementation. Therefore, when the audits come here, and I've tried to peruse much of the report, including those ones of my constituency, I've never come across where they say the funds were late. Therefore, it caused the late implementation of the project. What the report normally say is the report is incomplete, but there's no justification for that statement. I think it's something that really this committee need to put into consideration when they're presenting their reports here. Number two, Mr. Speaker, you know, we are paying bursaries, and institutions are 1,000 kilometers away from your constituency, Garissa. You are paying bursaries for university in Mombasa, university in Kisii, in Bondo. Now, when the report comes, they will say there is no evidence, which is okay. But as implementing committee in charge of implementation, it is upon you to advise on the best methods of evidence that need to be given so that the constituency is not told they cannot account for the money. Mr. Speaker, when people see the report out there, they don't know the difference between the FAD manager and the member of parliament. Normally, the person who is bashed is the member of parliament, not the FAD manager. But you need to come up with the mechanisms that are also going to make the business cheaper for the constituencies, management, the CDF committee. The transportation of checks from Bori to Mombasa is very expensive. It takes time. Sometimes you go, you find the financial managers of the receiving institution, they are not very cooperative, causing some kind of delays. Mr. Speaker, number two, or something that the committee, I think they need to fast track. We have been told that we spent money, which majority of these members have spent money on putting up the ICT apps. I am prouding myself because you have 6 complete ICT hubs of the standards. But now your report is only covering 2023. We were told that the computers will be delivered. Now, going by this speed, your report will finish this parliament without covering the report to show that really some institutions, some constituents have complied and brought up the ICT hubs. So I think, I don't know, the committee need to come up with a system of being current. You are reporting information, some members who are not here, apart from 1 year, 2022, 2023. When are we going to get the report for 2023, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26?
That is what members will be having a lot of interest in. 2013, 2014, majority of the members were not there. But you are striving, but at least at what pace can you recommend as a committee? We will be up to date. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Fair enough. There being no any other interest, I'll now put the question. Honorable members, I'll now put the question that this House adopts the 12th report of the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee on its consideration of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for constituency in Uasin Gishu. Nandi, Baringo, and Bomet counties for the financial years 2013 to 2014 to 2022 to 2023, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, the 4th of December, the year 2025. Will as many of the appearance say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contributors say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members. Please keep standing, honorable members. Honorable members, there being no other business in the House, the time being 17:37 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 28th of April, the year 2026, at 2:30 p.m.